Skull and Bones has a set release date that is a few months away, more than 5 years after its first announcement. The open-world pirate game's development has been plagued by manufacturing problems, but at long last, a release date has been confirmed. After a prolonged period of silence, the Skull and Bones website was updated in March of this year, hinting at the impending arrival of fresh material. But it wasn't until a pirate presentation that we discovered not only that the game will launch this year but also received a detailed look at the numerous systems of the open-world pirate shooter. We got a glimpse at Skull and Bones' advancement system, character and ship customization, and crafting, as well as combat and unique weaponry. Additionally, Ubisoft discussed the many ship types in the game and how you might become well known in the world of pirates. PvP, bounties, global events, and unique missions were all things we learned about. Even further, the post-launch plan for Skull and Bones was also discussed, outlining what new features would be introduced to this 7C simulator. So here is everything you need to know about Skull and Bones. But before we do get into the video, if you enjoy the content from me and want to see more Skull and Bones content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I upload multiple times per week, and with the upcoming release, you don't want to miss a single video. Getting back into the video. As a basic overview, Skull and Bones was originally intended to be a mix of Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Rainbow Six Siege. Ubisoft Singapore has described it as a tactical third-person action game, set in an open-world environment across the Indian Ocean. We can play as customizable pirate captains, sailing these waters or taking on a single-player campaign. Multiplayer is also confirmed, letting us gather 5 friends for PvP gameplay. You can of course look back at previous gameplay trailers, but I should warn you that Skull and Bones has gone through a number of interactions. Ubisoft themselves has stated there's a new version and a lot has changed from the original trailers we saw back in 2018. So let's go through what Skull and Bones aims to be in the present day. Each player assumed the role of a ship in the game, outfitted it with specialized weapons and armor, and then the two teams would shoot each other to pieces with their cannons and muskets. It was a small team PvP game. All of it has changed, or it no longer is the main topic. First and foremost, Skull and Bones is a survival game. You are born a pirate who has been shipwrecked. You must gather materials to construct a small, almost defenseless sailing vessel, and from those impoverished beginnings, you will rise to become a pirate master. With the aid of your ship, you will explore an open environment in search of wood, valuable metals, and any other materials you could require to make equipment. Along with AI adversaries like other ships, you'll also run into natural creatures like hippos and sharks. Additionally, you will gather extra resources and loot from them, which you may then utilize for crafts or exchange for cash at pirate dens and other outposts. Contracting out is the finest approach to making money, equipment, and plans. You will be required to find bounties, attack towns, or look for missing wealth in these jobs. Your degree of infamy determines which contracts are available to you, and executing contracts will help you do so. You have the option of playing the full game by yourself or in co-op with a friend, however, doing so exposes your game to PvP intrusions. Originally a PvP game, Skull and Bones has changed into a survival game that may be played exclusively by one player. From the open-world pirate game's original idea, it has undergone a significant transformation. But Skull and Bones multiplayer is still around, although in a different form. The entire game may be played alone, but you can also invite friends and adversaries to join in. You may invite another person into your team to join you on a contract quest as you venture out into the world in search of that fat treasure, because you'll frequently find yourself taking on more foes and collecting more stuff than your grip can. Well, hold, sharing it with a friend doesn't mean you'll wind up with less. It will only make the game a bit simpler and require you to divide part of the winnings. You may also invite rival players to your game, converting the 7 seas into a PvP arena. In the protected seas around a pirate cave, you're immune to assault, but as soon as you leave those confines, other players may start pursuing you. Naturally, you might not draw much notice while traveling to a mission, but as you are returning to port with a hold full of loot, the opposition will view you as a valuable target and may come after you. In this sense, PvP and co-op are still present in Skull and Bones, but in a greatly diminished capacity. Let's talk a bit about crafting. Skull and Bones allows you to make stuff to outfit your ship while still allowing you to purchase ships and gear with the loot you find. You'll find blueprints as you explore Skull and Bones' 7 oceans. These might be offered as prizes for finishing tasks or stashed away at the base of treasure chests. They will be necessary for creating in the game. You may construct totally new ships, make new weapons and armor, and improve all of your ship's fittings using the blueprints and materials you uncover in the environment, whether they come from scouring shipwrecks, gathering natural resources, or hunting marine life. It will be necessary to manufacture some of the equipment and hulls with the greatest power. So you'll need to devote time to crafting and plans if you want to become the most feared pirate on the 7 seas. The most important aspect to talk about in a pirate game is pirate ships. Skull and Bones will feature a variety of ship types, each with distinct advantages and disadvantages. Cargo ships, navigation ships, and firepower ships were the 3 categories that Ubisoft confirmed at the Ubisoft Forward. There may be other types that we haven't seen yet, but these are the main ones, and each type has a number of hull variations, so there will be many options to select the ideal ship for your playstyle. Cargo ships. The large holds of cargo ships, which are bigger and slower than the different types of cover ships, allow you to carry much more loot than any other ship type. If you take a cargo ship into battle, you won't have to leave any loot behind, despite the fact that they might not be as effective in a fight as the firepower ships or as quick as the navigation ships. Navigation ships. The navigation ships are the quickest and most agile sort of ship, despite not having much armor or hardpoints where you may attach lines of guns. In addition to being useful for reconnaissance, a skilled captain will be able to dodge enemy fire and stay in front of their guns during combat. This ship type is best employed if you have a companion who can assist you in picking up the loot after combat because they also have a tiny hold. Firepower ships. This is going to be the ship type for you if you wish to engage in combat. The firepower ship can carry the most weapons and control the battlefield even if it may not be as quick or agile as a navigation ship, or be as fast or maneuverable as a cargo ship. As with most Ubisoft games, there's a progression system. While you could begin Skull and Bones as a shipwreck victim with nothing but the clothing on your back, you won't remain there for very long. As is typical for Ubisoft's open-world games, you level up as you explore the globe, do tasks, fight opponents, and make new equipment. However, in Skull and Bones, your experience is referred to as infamy rather than experience. After all, notoriety is what pirates like most, not loot or rum. You will have access to new contracts as your infamy level rises, and you will receive large infamy rewards for finishing contracts. It's a constructive cycle. Your notoriety should also provide you access to stronger weapons and ship hulls, but Ubisoft was unclear on this point. Skull and Bones, which was first unveiled in 2017, has seen an astounding number of development problems over the years, ranging from the minor to the completely game-changing. These problems have been a major factor in changing the game's general identity over the previous 5 years, and they continue to do so even as it is very close to completion. Ubisoft initially unveiled Skull and Bones at E3 2017 as a game that was far different from the experience it would later provide. Skull and Bones was initially planned to be an extension of the well-liked Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which likewise had a primary focus on piracy and sailing, and its development dates back to 2013. Skull and Bones was once scheduled for release in late 2018, with Ubisoft offering a continuous playtesting method to let players provide feedback on the game's direction. Despite this initial optimism, Skull and Bones had its first postponement and now targets a 2019 release date. Since then, the only information fans had to go off was rumors and speculation. All of the original team members that started on Skull and Bones in 2013 had been promoted or left the company, resulting in a completely different vision for the game than what was originally planned. Many changes occurred as Skull and Bones went through the iterative cycle, and now we're here. Where the game originally promised is not what is advertised today, and a lot of players are fearful of this as they're not sure if Ubisoft is pushing Skull and Bones because the new vision has been achieved or because they've already spent millions on the game with nothing to show, so they just want to release it after 9 years being in development. Time will tell whether or not this will be a good game. Skull and Bones will be released on the 8th of November 2022. Originally, only the PS4, Xbox One, and PC platforms were confirmed for Skull and Bones release when it was first announced. However, at the time, its release date was set for 2018. Skull and Bones has officially been removed from PS4 and Xbox One following several delays in the introduction of the new generation of devices. It will still be available on PC, but it will also be available on the PS5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more from me, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload.